I'm on a journey to become the best cook that I can be. This journey's taken me from California all the way to New York City, from Toronto, Canada, down to Miami, Florida, and all over the great state of Texas. And today, I'm gonna film and learn from people I've been trying to learn from for months. See, the first time I tried to film here, there was a hurricane that shut down all of Western North Carolina. And the second time when we rescheduled, there was a fire that burned down their pit room. But not rain or sleet or anything else is gonna keep me away from learning from these people who might surprise you at how they've kept barbecue alive for almost 80 years. Let's go meet them.
Hey, Al.
Hey, Natalie, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. You want to come in and have some barbecue and meet my mama?
Absolutely.
Come on.
Hey, thanks for inviting me. I'm
You're
glad
welcome.
we finally get to meet.
We're excited.
So right here is going to be your just typical chopped meat. Right here behind you is going to be sliced meat.
Right.
But this right here is coarse chopped brown, and that's where all the flavor's at. So if you know barbecue, you know to get coarse chopped brown.
When you talk about chopped meat, brown meat, we use meat here in North Carolina. We're not talking about cows.
Right.
We're talking about pigs.
You got that right.
This is all pork that we're going to eat here, right?
Yes, sir. All right. You
Richard,
got
which
it.
one are we going for first?
That's yours right there.
Yeah,
I can
you get
tell
that
you
brand.
right there. That piece
This one right here?
That one right there.
Ooh, that's a big one. All right, so this is the coarse chopped. All right, I'm going
See
to
how
try
it
this
just
first.
pulls apart so easy?
That's what you want.
That is so flavorful.
And the only thing it has on it is sauce. We cook it. We don't use anything when we cook it. No rubs, no salt, nothing.
Really?
Really.
No salt, no
No.
barbecue rub.
No.
All right. When you
I
get-
need some more sauce.
Yeah, I'm going to
And
do some of this barbecue
Oh,
sauce
it's
here.
my favorite.
Now, I walked up this morning and I could smell sauce outside, so I'm guessing you're making this sauce yourself?
Oh yeah, we actually ship it all over the world. Last week I shipped it to Hawaii. It's been probably about a month ago, Alaska. So we've got customers, they'll buy it by the gallon and we just ship it right over.
That's delicious. It's got a little bit of kick to it.
It's really good.
Right.
So we said we've got chopped and we've got sliced, right?
Yep.
Chopped
Right.
is our most favorite.
Yep,
Okay, well
But-
then I'll save that for last.
exactly right.
The sliced
So
is more
moist.
if you like the lean, no fat, no brown, and a lot of people do like it, you know?
Right.
But now,
It's-
when my mama used to get busy, she'd call it. She said, we ain't putting nothing but chopped out, so there's no special slice, no special orders, or nothing. Once she got caught up, I didn't.
Oh, I did.
I tried to do everything I could to give these customers what they wanted. And going behind mama sometimes was a big deal doing that.
Is it hard being a woman in the barbecue business?
I don't think so, because this is all we know.
It's all I've
Yeah.
ever known.
Yeah.
Yep,
You just do it.
we just
Just
do
do
it.
it.
So I've read so much about these Hushpuppies
You go dive
right.
in. Now, my favorite way to eat them is dip it in the sauce.
and sauce.
That's
okay.
just my favorite. I mean, melt your mouth.
He says, I don't know about that.
No, that's
I mean,
great.
hush puppy and sauce. Okay.
That's what most people do. They'll buy a little cup of sauce, or they'll have something to dip their hush puppies in.
That's really good.
And so the
It's
difference
sweet.
between so many different people is we make it scratch every day. And I mean, it takes a lot, and it's we'll have to show you, not the recipe, but we'll have to show you how it's done.
You're gonna teach me?
I'm gonna teach you, but I'm not gonna tell you what's in it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try not to write anything down.
Okay. I'll get you if you do.
Just do a handful of this and a pot of that, and you'll be all right.
There you go.
That was my mom's motto.
All right. I've been delaying this. Coleslaw made with ketchup.
Yep.
Okay. This is so good. I did not need to be afraid of this. Now you're gonna teach me how to make this?
I'm gonna
This
chop
one
that
right here.
cabbage and everything else for you.
Now do you guys still do this? Do you you're in the restaurant every day?
Well, I am.
I'm not. I'm
You're not,
retired
okay.
now.
I
I've
call
retired,
her
but
all
I
the
do
time.
come in. Yes.
Okay. So is it hard watching your daughter run the restaurant that you ran for 25 or 30 years?
No. No. No.
She does a good job?
She does a fantastic job.
Proud of her?
I'm very proud of her. Yes.
I'm her clone, so
Yeah.
it's just like she's doing it, I think.
All right, one more question. Could I have another hush puppy?
Yeah. Go right ahead.
Get right there beside you.
All right, we gonna go learn?
Let's go learn.
Here at Bridges Barbecue, we cook on wood. This is how we cook it. We do it with kind of the art side of things, and do it by feel and actually taking wood, burning down those coals, and putting them in those cookers.
Now, is that just a question of tradition? Like, I've never been to a place that cooks over gas, so I can't tell you. Like, I assume you can taste the difference?
I'm not going to say it's bad, it's just a different taste. It's a different texture. This tradition's been a long time, and Natalie likes to keep the tradition going of her grandfather and likes to keep it that way, so I try to help make sure that she can maintain that tradition, and we cook the same way they did, at least I know in the 80s when I was around.
My mom worked in a cotton mill. She didn't even think about the restaurant business until my daddy came out of the war. At that time, Daddy was cooking the war. When he came home, he decided that him and Mom were gonna open up a barbecue place. So I was raised out here. My mom brought me here. I literally tormented the curb boys. I can remember sitting out on the freezer and had to have my little coloring books and all this. We used to have a jukebox on the tables. So I used to dance on the tables when I was little. My daddy would bring me in here and put me on the tables.
I actually remember coming in that back door all the time and my grandmother standing right there. Because when you stand in that section right there, you can see every department in this place. And I'd come in and I'd always give her a hug and a kiss, and she'd say, "All right, Debbie, it's time to go." She would love me, but she was like, "You got to get them on out of here. Get them on out of here. I got to get to work." But she wanted to love me, but it was like, hey and bye. I'll never forget it.
It was an amazing place to work. The camaraderie, the teammanship, it was just run like a really tight ship, and Mama B had the reins.
She loved this place right here. This was her baby. I came second, and that was fine. You know, I understood. I didn't understand it for a while, but the older I got, the more I understood it, because this is where she lived. She come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, and she was the last one to leave at 9 o'clock at night.
She just worked hard every single day. I mean, it was just, I've never seen one person till this day work like she worked. Yeah. She woke up, she got out here, she was the first one to get here, the last one to leave.
Her favorite saying was, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. She didn't want people standing around. She wanted everybody to know their job and do their job, and that, I think that was her attitude on life.
She was good to her employees, you know? She gave them insurance, she gave them bonuses every day, twice a year, she gave them 2 weeks vacation.
Mama B was a sweetheart, but they tell me I didn't work for the same woman that people 30 years earlier had worked for. She was an astute businesswoman.
Miss Bridges was the sweetest lady that I have ever worked for in my years of working. She was considerate, fair, but you better do your job, because if you didn't, she would get on to you. She was a stern woman, but she was a sweet woman.
Mama B is one of a kind. There's never another before or since. She was an excellent judge of people. Some people say she was stern, but she was very fair. She was very fair to her employees, and if you did a little extra, she made sure you got a little extra.
She had a heart of gold. She really, really did. She would bend over backwards. She had so many, she called most of her employees her family, her kids. And she was like, when she passed away, she said, "You got to take care of all of them and love them just like you'd love your brother and sisters."
Yeah. Now these are Smithfield packages. So
Smithfield.
This is the same stuff anybody can get. Mm-hmm. So skin side up, skin is on, obviously, which a lot of my viewers probably never cooked a shoulder with the skin on before.
That's right.
We're doing the whole shoulder.
Yep, whole shoulder. And this is how we've always done it.
Okay.
So what we're doing, once we got the coals made, we want to get us a good scoop of coals. The trick is to get it a good layer of coals in here and get them spread out evenly so we've got even heat across our cooker. And on these first few, we actually put a few more coals in. We don't have to worry about the fat dripping, so we can allow a little more heat to be in our barrel when we first start. We don't want to have any pockets that get cold. We're cooking on portable round cookers here. Red Bridge barbecues traditionally cook in masonry and steel pits that are flat, all flat surface. This is the best way to simulate it is these cookers. These cookers, the flame's just a little bit closer to the meat than it is on the traditional masonry and steel. Hopefully, when they get the construction project over and get them replaced, what's going to be replacing will be just like what we had before. But in order to keep the barbecue the same as what it always has been, this is the closest we can get. What we're trying to do in this process is get all the fat out of the pork that we can, and that's what makes our this style of cooking unique over some other kinds. And in order to do that and to get it out, we obviously have grease dripping out of the meat, and with it being that close to the direct heat, we have to be very careful, be diligent.
So the coals are going to be directly under the shoulders.
Yes, sir.
Not on the sides, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be directly under it. The flow of the heat allows it to flow back around.
Right.
And we do have smoke and steam escaping out of the pipes on top, but it continuously puts that smoke flavor back into the meat.
Got it. Now I notice there's no thermometers on these smokers. Do you know how hot the cooker is inside? Or?
Yes, sir. I want it to be around 225, 250. And that's just, when we're cooking right, that's just where you're comfortable touching. If it's not comfortable touching, you're too hot. If it don't have a little heat you feel, you're too cold. So if we can stay in that 200 to 250 range, we're okay. We push past that, we're getting out of our real smoking and getting more into grilling.
Your flavors are pork and wood.
That's it. No rub, no nothing. My grandmother's always told me if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's worked for 78 years, so I ain't gonna touch it.
There's love in this food.
Yeah.
I've never had hush puppies that just, you eat one or two and you just keep wanting to eat more.
Right.
Like with chips or something,
Yeah.
If you want to have consistency, this is probably the most consistent, and the continuity of it has been fantastic. I mean, that's what keeps bringing people back.
They brought us some gas cookers out here. They said, we're gonna show you how good this is. So they brought their own meat and they went out there, they cooked it, and the minute they walked in with that stuff, it had a smell to it, and I thought, this ain't gonna work. But I just let Mama, do her thing, and she told him, she said, you can get that son of a bitch out of here. Sorry. But she did, that was her,
Yes.
And when she said something, she meant it.
When it's not broke, don't try to fix anything, If it was working well, just go with it, so.
That right there's that's all you need. You have to cook the same, that's number one. You have to, you have to cook that meat. It doesn't matter. A lot of other barbecue restaurants are like, oh man, I can get by putting electric, yada, 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 save money. No, you ain't gonna get that quality. You got to do it the same way. This is Shelby style.
We got the coals under the meat now. Meat's starting to get bathed in that smoke. As you can see, there's some smoke. It's hard to see at this point, but the smoke's starting to come up. As the meat heats up, and it'll kind of be bathed in the smoke, and these rounded cookers will let it flow back around.
Well, it's hard to believe that barbecue I tasted comes from this, and nothing else.
Nope, nothing else. It's all about that smoke.
It's smoke and pig.
You got that right.
I did not realize what I had out here and what I had to do to keep it until I was probably in my early 40s. I had to be here. When kids had dance recitals or baseball games or whatever, well, what do you want to go to those for? You need to be here at work. And some I did go to, but it was a fight for about a week with my mom. It really was. But Family's important, and she realizes family's important, but me and Mama was the family, or Mama and I. I went to modeling school when I was about 21 years old, and it helped me a lot as far as just helped me in life. Did not help me with restaurant, but Mom made me make a choice because Troy Ann wanted me to pursue the modeling. She wanted me to open a school up here, blah, 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 blah. And Mama says, that's fine if that's what you want to do. She said, but you got your choice. You either pick modeling and I'll sell it. I've heard that so many times. Or you can come in here and run this business. Now she said, you go home and think about that.
I think Mama B knew that this was an ongoing thing, that it was a legacy. Debbie was her only child. And she told Debbie, if you want to run the barbecue, I need you to come back home and run the barbecue. And if not, I'm going to sell. And Debbie said, I can't let it die. I have to go back.
I had to use my common sense. I mean, modeling, what you gonna have? Maybe 2 or 3 good years with it. And that's it, it's over. This place was gonna be here, and it still is.
So I walked in Mama's footsteps with that. It was kind of her dream too, so I like to do it. And I actually won top model. I loved it. I loved everything about it. But when it come to reality, I didn't want to leave this place. I wanted to stay here. And so I never went and did anything else with it. I just wanted to be here because I knew it would take me away from my mom and away from the barbecue and all my family here.
For decades, the women of Red Bridges Barbecue have been the quiet architects of something extraordinary. They've turned smoke and meat into a legacy, a place where the weight of tradition feels as tangible as the sauce on your fingers. Their hands, their hearts, their determination, these are the things that built this place. But life, like barbecue, is unpredictable. The fire burns steady until it doesn't. Just as these women were finding their rhythm, the matriarch, the steady hand that had guided them, began to falter. In a business built on consistency, on the unbroken chain of yesterday feeding into today, even the smallest crack can feel like a tremor. And here in Shelby, that tremor carried the weight of something more. A question that no one dared ask out loud. What happens when our leader can no longer lead?
She got sick, and I didn't know she had all these problems. Found out she had congestive heart failure. I knew she had diabetes, pulmonary lung disease. I said, when did all this happen? Where was I at? And she said, well, I just didn't tell you.
Did you change anything?
No, I've not changed nothing.
So
no
the way
recipes.
She ran it from the old days before your dad died. You kept everything the same, recipes the same.
Everything.
Most everything was kept the same process of cooking the meat, which was the old school way. We didn't want to change anything.
Nothing's changed. Our sauce, our slaw, our hush puppy mix.
Right.
Well, it hasn't changed, but it has a recipe now instead of a handful of this and a cup of this. I said, because look at my hands. There's, and look at your hands. I said, we can't do it this way anymore. So we measured it out and got that part straight.
Hush puppies, honey, they melt in your mouth. They're so good. Yes, and we have to use the same cornmeal, flour, milk. I mean, you have to use that brand. And heaven to Betsy if something happens to it. Dixie Crystal is the kind of sugar we use. And the Dixie Crystal plant blew up. And when that happened, our tea, our Hush Puppies, we couldn't use anything else because they didn't taste the same. Oh, it was awful. My brother had to get in a truck, and a flatbed truck, and we had to drive all over North Carolina getting Dixie Crystal because, it was a mess. As soon as we got it, we were back to normal.
Back to normal.
But you have to keep those same recipes with the same product.
Right.
But no, everything, still cook it like Dad taught us to do it. Everything is the same, it's consistency, and that's what our customers like, is consistency.
Okay, so we're approximately halfway through cooking. As you can see, the shoulders are just about halfway. We're going to turn one first. See how it kind of has a bark starting? That's where we want to be. When we get done, these bones will actually just pull out on their own. They're still in there stiff, but what Ben's gonna do is get in here and turn them. Those are heat proof gloves he's got on. This is very hot. We actually don't fire them at the same time we would normally fire them. We skip a firing right before we turn them, just to keep all the smoke and heat from eating us up while we're actually turning them. As soon as we get them all turned, we'll refire the grills.
So is that because of the airflow, we want to keep it cool, or is that just because you produce so much smoke you can't see it? Or
the smoke you can't see and breathing it in, and also when we're turning it, we run a risk of some of that rendered juices and fat that could catch on fire flaming up. We wouldn't want to do that to somebody with their arms in the grill.
So this isn't just on the loaner grills, you do that on the big grills?
We do that on the big grills. We always do that just for the our own safety and our own well-being. You can see how much juice is here and everything, and a lot of that is flammable, so we want to minimize that.
So we're going skin side down now.
Yes, sir.
So are we going to maintain the same temperatures?
Yes, sir.
And the skin, will it crisp up?
Yes, sir.
At that low temperature?
Yes, sir. It'll still crisp up. And this bark will actually, even though it's up now, this bark will continue to form as it cooks. You'll see this skin. It'll give a real crispy appearance. Actually, Natalie's able to market that. There's people that actually come and buy those skins.
Woo, honey, they beg for those skins.
Yeah.
They love them.
So we want to keep those skins intact, and we want to keep them as, some people when they cook, they look at that as a waste, but we don't. That's actually sold.
Right, so you sell them as a whole skin.
Oh yeah, people
okay,
call
you're
and
not
say,
chopping them up and...
Now, okay, so we do put some of that.
Right.
Absolutely, because
Right.
you know,
In
that's
the
where your
barbecue.
flavor's at, 100%.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's where the flavor's at.
Right.
So of course we put that in the barbecue as well, but you know, when you pull the shank off, we just put the shank right there in the bags and we sell them as skins and people go nuts.
So what do you sell a skin for?
So a 4-pound bag's $7. And I mean, they come in, they got to cook them and do their own thing, you know.
Right.
Some people just eat them right then and there. And you know, we'll deep fry them sometimes and we'll let you taste it. And it is so yummy.
All right, I'm
It
gonna
is
have to
really
take a
good.
couple of bags home with
we'll
me.
have to, yeah, we'll have to do that for you.
Okay.
So, but it's really good. But that skin's where all the flavor is.
Awesome. So when Natalie came in, she worked for you for a while, then you decided to retire. Did she make any changes when you stepped back?
Yeah. Toys, registers, computers, DoorDash.
She says, why can't you just be old school? And I was like, Mama, because you can't. We take credit cards and you have to have a system. And like that, the POS tells you everything. How many plates you sold that day, how many trays. But she hates it. She does not like change whatsoever. I don't like change, but I know it has to be done.
And I know all this is stuff that you need to do now, but I mean, I had one register up here and I had 2 adding machines. And I kept that line, you know, we could do both, going on 2 lines, ring that stuff up, and it was very simple. Now we got all this. Every time I learn it, then we're changing to another system.
I did change, so our little pads, basically you come in, we write your order, you prepare your order, you bring it up, and you pay for your order. Okay. But that used to be the only thing that was on the table. So I did get menus made that kind of described things a little more.
Right.
And that was a huge change. People are like, where's our tickets? And I'm like, they're still right here, but this just goes into, you know, a little bit more detail. But people did not like that. They've gotten used to it and they appreciate it now because like, oh, I didn't know you had deviled egg. And I was like, yeah, we do. You know, so I think, God, I can't think of anything else.
So that is the only thing really that she has changed. Food is still the same.
A lot of these people have been here since the day I was born. And to start hearing me tell them what to do or something I didn't like, oh yeah. Oh, they'd get snooty and call my mama. You know, like, what's she thinking? No, you have to listen. That's what I do now. You're not gonna call my mama. But it was a transition for sure.
You folks know me as a YouTuber who cooks and travels around the country learning from the best. But before 2020, I was actually an entrepreneur. And as a pretty successful entrepreneur, one of the things I can tell you is that it is critically important to manage your team right, to motivate people, to build a culture, to have transparent communications, to have everybody on the same page. And you know what I didn't have back then? I didn't have Connecteam. Connecteam is a mobile-first employee management app. It's designed to help businesses with non-desk teams, like restaurants, for example, to communicate, engage, retain, and train their employees all in one place. You see, 80% of the workforce is made up of frontline employees who don't sit at a desk on their email apps or in their browsers all day. One of the modules of Connecteam I find most intriguing is employee and shift scheduling. See, it lets you create schedules based on your employees' availability and their time off requests, etc., and then distribute it in seconds so everybody can claim or swap shifts on their own and more. There's also a built-in time clock so employees can clock in and out from their own phones, of course with geofence capabilities so they can only do it from work, and location logging so you know everyone's where they're supposed to be. But employees can request sick or vacation days and you can approve or deny them all within the app. And all the time data can be easily sent to payroll or billing systems. Connecteam is free for companies with 10 users or less, and there's a free trial for folks that are bigger organizations, so you should definitely check them out. There's a link and a QR code on the screen right now. You can use those to check it out, or I'll put the link in the description and in a comment so you can find it there. All right, let's get back to barbecue.
Right here at the end, our barbecue's shoulders are.
Smell that.
Yes, sir. that dripping's coming out into that.
It really is.
Yes, sir.
You can really smell the difference between offset cooking and direct heat cooking right now.
Yes, sir. So what we've got here is the barbecue's pretty much done.
Okay.
You can see some of the skins have actually kind of cooked off. We aren't able to save every single skin. Some of them stick to the grill a little bit. But as you can see, the bone's starting to stick out. So what we do for food safety reasons, we take it off of the grill and we put it into a warming box that holds the temperature above 140. As you can see, this one, the bone's almost falling out. We kind of got to be careful to keep it from falling out. We don't want the shoulder to fall apart because folks are going to be wanting this at lunchtime tomorrow. We don't want it to completely fall apart on us. You can see how this one just kind of comes apart. This is, that can be chopped up and turned into some good Q. I'm gonna leave a piece there. We might
could be a little pitmaster privilege here.
Yes, sir. Got pitmaster privilege here.
That's what I'm talking about.
So you want to taste some good barbecue?
Yes, sir.
There it is.
May I?
Yes, sir.
Ho.
We'll stick this over here. This is some of the good bark.
That's delicious. Let me break off a piece of that. I saved you that piece there for yourself.
Yes,
cheers.
Sir. Cheers. Don't get no better than that.
This is Billy. He's making our famous Hushpuppies. So our Hushpuppies, we had a lady that worked here my whole entire life until recently, about 2 years ago, and she retired. But she come in and she made Hushpuppies. She never had a recipe. She looked at it and she could just make it, and she did it every day of her life.
So you figured out the recipe by watching her and...
Yes, well, she helped us jot it down and everything, but she started working for my grandmother when she was 15 years old. And this was the only job she ever had. This
is not a thing like I've had in any other barbecue places around the country. I don't see Hushpuppies in Texas. I don't see them in Kansas City, even in eastern North Carolina.
Absolutely.
So is this a thing here in Shelby? Is it a thing in western North Carolina?
Well, around this area, most definitely. You know, when you hear Bridges Barbecue Lodge, of course you hear barbecue, but the second thing is the Hushpuppies.
Right.
Because most people buy the bags and they just fry them. Not us. We make them from scratch. So that's what makes them so good.
All right, so we're not going to show people this recipe because it's super secret.
Yes, it is.
But it is, you're right, like when people talk about Bridges Barbecue Lodge, this is part of the conversation, right? Hey, don't leave there without trying the Hushpuppies.
Oh yeah, they are absolutely amazing. Melt in your mouth. So when it comes to Hushpuppies, back in the olden days, now I can't tell you the logistics of what really happened, but the women inside were cooking. And I guess the men were coming back from work, doing whatever they were doing, and the dogs would yap, 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 yap. It wouldn't stop. So the ladies would get her dough, whatever they were making that day, and say, Hushpuppies. And so there's where the Hushpuppies come from.
Literally, this is what they used to throw to the dogs.
Yes, that's what they did because they wanted them to hush. And so what it'll do, it'll sit here for just a little while, and it's got to rise before you put it in the hopper. Once you put it in the hopper, you good to go.
When it's time to cook them, are they cooked to order or cooked just to the line? Or?
What we do is we get them, we cook them. We have a hush puppy holding drawer right here, and so each chicken they put their hush puppies, and it's constantly keeping fresh hush puppies.
Okay, so you're just keeping them fresh in the bin and serving them out of the bin. So, so when somebody orders them, they were made just a few minutes ago.
Yep.
Okay, I get more later today.
Yes, you do.
Awesome. So it's 2024, and we live in a time of, well, let's call it victim culture, right? And we hear and are bombarded in the media, and you know, I'm a girl dad and whatever, and we hear all about, you know, men being jerks and keeping women down and the victims and back and forth. And I sit here and I talk to your mom about her mom and about her attitude and about you, and I talk to you, and I've now known you for a couple of months as we've been planning this. There's no victim here. Why is that?
You know, I don't let that opportunity arise. Like, I'm not gonna argue back with you. If that's what you think, so be it. Whatever, you know, I'm gonna fight for what I love to do, and that's what I'm gonna do. Always know you can do it yourself. You don't need somebody to do it for you. So from that, I feel as if, you know, if I need something, I'm gonna do it. It don't matter how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna get it done. I'm not gonna ask, or, you know, it's just one of those things that I'm gonna figure it out. Best way I can, because nothing's impossible.
They respected Debbie just as they had their mom, and now Natalie's earned that same respect. But it has picked up and taken off, and it's still going strong to this day.
I feel like from Mama B to Debbie to Natalie, they all had the self-confidence, the belief in themselves that they could make it in business when maybe other ladies didn't and would have failed, but they didn't. Their determination, their spirit, their personality, everything just fit perfectly with the business that they're in.
I think with building the business as a woman, that Mama B had it the hardest, because in those days it was much harder for a woman to be in business for herself. But Mama B broke the ground for them. As Debbie, as an only child, the next, if you're going to continue, it has to be a female-led business. And then Natalie, as being the oldest, the third generation of women just came naturally for them. But it is harder because people who are not familiar, will wonder about that and wonder, well, who's doing this and who's doing that? But they keep their eye, the thing that they are most interested in is quality and consistency. It has to taste like it tasted in 1947.
Your mom kind of commanded the respect as the queen.
Oh yeah,
Right.
she did.
When-
Queen Bee.
When you came in and this became Debbie's place.
She's still the Queen Bee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any crap, or did people give you the respect you deserved?
Yeah, they gave me, I was the princess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I've handed that down to
Right.
Natalie.
Oh, retired. I hear that, and I'm like, Mama, you always tell me to call you if I need you. I'm calling you, honey, so stop fussing at me. But she gets stressed out here a lot of times too, because it's not ran her way.
Did y'all hear you call me?
You did, darling.
I'm just retired now. I've done backed out, and I'm letting all the glory go to her.
Hey guys, they take coleslaw so seriously here at Red Bridges. We're actually in a room called the Slaw Room. And Debbie's gonna teach me how they make slaw, but we're not gonna give away the secrets, right?
Right.
But this is it, that red slaw, I'm gonna learn how to make.
I guess you are.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. First of all, I've already got some of the cabbage cut up, and we're going to cut these 3 heads up so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm putting it in my slaw maker, which is a Hobart chopper. Okay? And you got to be careful because this can take your finger off real easy. And I'm going to tell you a little secret, okay? I use the core in the cabbage.
Yeah.
And people that think they've got that little hotness It is hot, but it is also gives it that little spike of hotness.
Oh,
Now,
from the core. Okay.
The core, yeah. And in certain times of the year, that core is a lot hotter than other ones.
Really?
It is. And so therefore, everybody that says our slaw has sauce in it, it has this in it, it has that in it, it does not have sauce in it. It's the core that makes it that way.
So do we know where Red Slaw originated?
My daddy. He come from the war in India, and he was a cook. And I'm assuming that's where he got all his recipes, was when he was in India in the war.
So is it Red Slaw because it's got ketchup, or is it Red Slaw because
Yes.
Red Bridges invented it?
I call it Red Slaw because it's a ketchup base instead of a mayonnaise base.
Got it.
And people come in here and ask for white slaw all the time. And either you like it or you don't like it.
Now, we don't make white slaw. When they ask for white slaw, we
don't have it.
So why Barbecue Lodge?
You know, that's one I've asked for I don't know how long. Something at the beach. It was a hotel we stayed in, and it was a lodge. And I guess my daddy, I don't know, he liked it.
He just liked the name,
And
huh?
I never could figure out, and nobody ever knew the answer to that. I'm going to do cans of ketchup.
Okay. So the only vegetables in there is the cabbage. There's no carrots, there's none of the other stuff that you see sometimes in white slaw. There's no red cabbage, it's
very simple.
Okay.
Then we take some vinegar to wash these ketchup cans out, because you don't want to waste nothing. Oh, this is all coming back to me. Then we're adding salt, pepper, and sugar. And we lock it in, and then we turn it on, and we slowly start spinning.
How long will a batch of slaw this size last? Is this a day's worth, part of a day, get a week out of it?
Depends on what day it is.
Okay.
Wednesday, they do a lot of filling up our pints and stuff on Wednesday.
Okay.
Voila,
And there we go.
we have slaw. And I just got it all over your thing.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So good. So the stuff that we tasted when I got here, that actually sat for a little bit because it mellowed a little bit and a little bit softer in the cabbage, right? So is that the routine? We make it, we quart it up, we wait, get it right.
5-gallon bucket it up.
5-gallon bucket it up,
Yeah.
and then wait till it's ready,
Right. Well,
and then it's perfect.
if we can.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can't.
Thanks for teaching me.
You're welcome.
There's no fourth generation.
No girls? No, it doesn't, because my Jackson is, everything about him is me. Now, my Jackson, he's very interested. He'll call me up and be like, Mama, can I come to the work today? He wants to get tips, is what he wants, because everybody loves to see the fourth generation. He loves it. He'll come home and he'll start counting that money. He's funny with that, but it's precious.
So when Jackson grows up and takes over, is it going to be hard to let go?
Well, yeah, it'll probably be extremely hard, but I can't wait for that day if he does decide that. That's just going to be an honor. It's just, you know, just to know that he is so interested in doing it, that just makes my heart so happy, because I would love to see this place hit 100 years old. That's my goal in life. Now, do I want to work that long? I will. I'm going to, because 100 years is my goal. And then after that, Jackson, I hope you're ready, honey.
Here in Shelby, North Carolina, you find the kind of place that feels like a postcard from another time. A town where the smoke rises slow and the stories of the past linger in every brick and every recipe. At Red Bridges Barbecue, the American dream isn't some distant, dusty notion. It's alive, well, and fueled by hickory coals. These women, pioneers in their own right, have taken up the mantle of their father, their grandfather, their grandmother, their mothers, carrying forward a tradition that could have so easily faded into memory. But they haven't just preserved it, they've made it their own. It's not just barbecue they're tending here. It's a connection to something bigger, a lineage, a craft, a way of life that speaks to what's good and true about this country. In a world that moves faster every day, places like this remind us to slow down, to savor the flavors of a tradition, and to find beauty in the work in our hands. Here in Shelby, the smoke carries not just the scent of barbecue, but the enduring spirit of resilience, family, and grit. The kind of spirit that built this place, and the kind of spirit that keeps it alive.